So welcome to today's webinar, and I want to start thanking everybody for your hard work last year. TMS had one of the best years ever, actually the best year ever. We grew 28% compared to 2010, which was our previous best year. And when you look at the product line that I'm responsible for, shakers, amplifiers, and accessories, we grew 59%, and we sold more than $1 million worth of shakers and amplifiers with hundreds of units that were shipped all around the world. And thinking about that, I mean, we didn't have this product line in 2006. We just started in 2007, a few years ago, and this is just gaining the momentum. And I would like to point out that 76% of all shaker sales came from international customers. So you guys are already doing a great job. We are here to talk more about selling ideas and sharing some of our successful stories. But essentially, you're already doing. I'll be talking here, but you guys already, you should be talking to me instead. You already know what you're doing. But I want to emphasize that. We keep working hard in the U.S., but basically, the world is very big, and that's where we see our growth coming. And as we, expand that to the future, we're just starting here. We believe there's much more to go, and if we keep that pace, we are looking for an exponential curve over the next few years as we move along. And the beauty is that at this point in time, after a few years working in this product line, we got hundreds of systems installed all over the world, in Europe, in Asia, in the Americas, and in Australia, and so on, and even Africa. And looking just from a quantity standpoint, by far our most sold and successful product has been the SmartShakers. The whole product line, gives a great contribution to our overall sales, but in terms of quantity, the SmartShakers, it's more than 60% of all the units sold. And each unit, is typically a new customer. So the more we are adding new customers to the PCB group family of customers. And if we go back into the time machine and see what people were doing back, many decades ago, I found an interesting picture of a BNK shaker from the 70s, and you still see a lot of those systems out there when you visit customers. I'm sure, you may have seen one of those. And at that time, if you wanted to do calibration, if you wanted to do modal testing, if you wanted to do anything pretty much, that was the greatest solution at that time. The shaker had multiple heads that were interchangeable. So all you have to do was to buy this bulky shaker, buy different heads, and one head would allow you more stroke, would be a lightweight head with more stroke for modal testing. You have another high G head for calibration. You have a general purpose head, and that was kind of the thing you had in the past. And as we move along today, and just looking at one example here, our dual purpose shaker, you see with a shaker that's just 1/3 of the size, 1/3 of the weight, you can do anywhere from just a general vibration control testing, general vibration testing. You can convert that shaker into a modal exciter. So it's much more compact, it's much more easier to use. And that's where, we keep growing by just making it easier for the customers to do the same, same testing they did in the past. And again, bringing up the innovation to the game. We see here, bringing the amplifier, the amplification into the shaker, making it simple, compact, easy to use. Just like PCB did 30 years ago with ICP, putting the electronics inside the transducer, we are doing the same with the shaker. And so going back to the fact that we sold smart shakers more than anything else, I want to concentrate the presentation about the smart shaker. And again, we talked about that before. This is we serve pretty much all markets with this little product. It's multi-purpose. And the last webinar we did, we highlighted all the unique selling points of the smart shaker. We talked about how innovative it is. It's simple, it's compact, it's rugged compared to the competition. We provide a complete solution with everything you need out of the box. It's multi-purpose, and it can be delivered from stock. And we have an educational program where we offer universities easy access to the shaker. And each of you should at this point have a demo unit in your country. If you don't have yet, we also have a program where you can get a demo unit at a very significant discount. So all those things together, our long-term goal is to take over the world. This is a little picture here. It's like our tsunami. We're going to just go and destroy the competition and take over the world with this little guy. And pretty much not taking over the world, but the idea is just like 30 years ago when PCB came up with the impact hammer and went out over every analyzer manufacturer, every university customer, and gave a hammer to those people. We want to see this little guy on every university around the world, on every customer that is doing anything like related to vibrational testing. And I want to spend a little time today just going over recent successful stories, and just to brainstorm with you ideas that you may find similar customers in your country that would benefit from it. So essentially, we're talking about vibration testing or modal testing. And Apple recently bought one of our smart shakers for their research and development for the next product. Who knows what it is? They will not tell us. I asked the guy. He refused to tell me. And still talking about smartphones, there's another company, Impact Technologies. They were developing an iPhone application to measure vibration severity. And you see a picture. They published a paper, and there's a picture from the paper where you have, it's hard to see, it's a little plate, and there is an accelerometer, and there's an iPhone on the side. They were using our larger shaker, but you could do the same thing with the smart shaker or a platform style shaker. An interesting application we see here was a company called Microgen. They were developing energy harvesting device. So what it does is the opposite of an accelerometer. You're taking the vibration energy and vibrating a little piezoelectric cantilever beam, and that will store energy into a battery that in turn will power a wireless sensor or another type of device. So if you go to, for example, YouTube, you can see one of their videos where they were doing testing. You see the top of our SmartShaker, and they were shaking their device at 60 hertz. And I don't know how it broadcasts, but you can see a very large displacement at 60 hertz of the little cantilever beam, and that will be connected to a storage device. And basically they bought our SmartShaker for development of that energy harvesting thing. So just, still applications related to vibration testing. We had several customers in the biomedical markets doing things all the way from, testing little electronics in small insulin pumps, testing pacemakers. So just a few names on the screen that you may recognize or not, but essentially anybody who has a little electronics, and because it's biomedical, people are going to wear those devices. It's very critical that they work and they will not fail as people are wearing them. And still in the medical area, I used that example before, so I apologize if you've seen it in a previous presentation. But again, same idea, but now instead of just vibration testing, I'm doing structural testing of an arm for diagnostic of bone health. It's bone health monitoring application done by the Ohio University. So when we talk about modal testing, you are all very familiar with impact hammers. So and the concept here, anything that you are doing with an impact hammer can be done with a shaker. And I just put out a couple of examples from the web. Just people testing anything from what is called that hockey. Harvey, help me out here. It's a hockey hockey stick and
hockey stick.
Hockey stick. I'm a Brazilian guy. We don't play hockey in Brazil. Hockey sticks to hard drives. People hitting wind turbine blades, machine tubes, beer bottles, guitars, and so on. So all those customers that buy hammers from us, they are potential shaker customers. And just one example here, we see many people testing musical instruments. And the reason they do that, as you probably know, a violin, can cost anything from $40,000 for a modern violin to all the way to $10 million for one of the antique violins from the Cremona luthiers like Stradivari and Guarneri. And essentially, you're trying to look at the modes of vibration and study the quality of the instrument based on their mode shapes. We had you can do it with a hammer, you can do it with a shaker. So that's the idea. Again, from many universities using the shakers and hammers to test plates and anything that you can do a mathematical model of it. So you run the modal testing, you try to correlate, you want to go through all the mathematics and the physical models of modal testing. And again, the SmartShaker has been very, very popular with the universities, and educational is the main application besides research. And talking about research, this is another one coming from France, where they're shaking this little plant. And who knows why, but some years ago they had an interesting paper at the Catholic University of Leuven where they were talking about shaking a cherry tree at different frequencies, and when you shake the tree at a certain frequency, the cherry will fall from the tree, just the cherry. But if you shake it at a different frequency, you get the cherry plus the stem. So there's a lot of research being done with plants just by, harvesting, different techniques on how you can get the fruits out of the tree. And we have this paper here, was published last year. If anybody wants a copy, it's in French. So I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I don't speak French, but I'll be happy to send it over to you. And so the bottom line, it's all about vibration. Even Google this week had a little animation in homage of Mr. Hertz, which everybody knows as the famous German scientist. I believe he was German. I didn't read the article, but we talk about Hertz all the time. So it's all about vibration. It's all about the same customers we are already serving, that are buying our accelerometers. And, next time you talk to them, just ask them, what are you using? Are you shaking things? You're just measuring vibration from operational vibration, or are you also doing experiments where you need to control how you vibrate your article and your specimen? And there are a lot of examples out there. And, I don't want to go with everyone, but, there's just even on our website, we are showing how to demonstrate the modes of vibration of a ruler. And, we did that with our cell phone camera, but it turned out really good. I have another example here that was done at the University of Mississippi. The professor had one of those fancy high-speed cameras, and it's hard to see, but anyway, I just want to show you and tell you there are a lot of examples out there. This is a very simple example. We use this type of demonstration when we go on trade shows. It calls a lot of people's attention to our booth, and I just want to share with you if you want to, if you have any questions on how to do this demonstration, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. And an interesting type of application that we are seeing more and more is, customers that want to embed our shaker into a machine, into some sort of vibration equipment. I highlight here on the left side our own product, the 9100D, which inside of it we have a SmartShaker. Essentially, we have the shaker with the little amplifier, and we produce hundreds of those. And on the right side, we have a big company here in the States. They are specialized in glass. Corning is the manufacturer of Pyrex and other products, and they are working on some top secret. They will not tell me much about it, but something about shaking bottles and trying to clean the bottles. They'll have some jelly material on the surface of the bottle, and they're shaking it and trying to come up with a device, and that device will have the shaker built into it. So we were talking here, they already purchased 6 shakers from us, and they are, if that works out, it's going to be a very good application. We expect a lot of big volume application will be very interesting. As we speak, we also have PCB France is working with a different company. They're doing some educational workbench where there's going to be like an earthquake simulator. There's a company specialized in building those benches. So there's opportunities out there for customers that want high volume applications. So it goes on and on. I'm just going to go fast here since we're running out of time. We had customers like Embraer buying our little shakers to put behind the cockpit in an airplane and shaking the instrumentation panel. And lots of other customers that are using, you see a lot of people using National Instruments. We see a lot of customers using LMS, and just using the different analyzers to run the shaker. So we have not only those companies buying our SmartShakers for demonstrations on trade shows and I-Week, you know, and also customers that have those equipments, you know, using our shaker for different applications. So just as you see, we build up the reference customer base, and you see a lot of corporate customers out there, and the list, it's a very extensive list, and just a few ones we talked about today on the screen. Universities, we continue to push hard. We want every university around the world to have our SmartShaker. And, you know, there's a lot of customers out there. Every country has a lot of universities, and we encourage you to keep going after those customers. And there are different ways to do that. You know, we here in the United States, we've been doing email blasts to customers. So every other month we send, you know, kind of 1,000 emails to our contact people, and just, you know, sharing ideas, sharing some of our favorite books, and you know, sharing content papers, you know, things, ideas how to drive a shaker from an iPhone, and so on. So we want to keep, you know, the mind share of people through emails, through our website, and so on. And so what can you do? You know, you're already doing a great job, and we are seeing this as the sales grow internationally. And, you know, just to keep promoting in your country, you know, for users similar to the ones we talked about today, you know, on your campaigns, if you do advertisement, if you do email blasts, you know, make sure your website has the products on it, because we see more and more people, they find us through the web. And take advantage of our demonstration program, and also take advantage of our university program, and allow your local university to fill up their laboratories with the equipment. So we just, you know, some countries, we have here one of the advertisement that was sent like an email blast in France. And again, you know, if you need any help from us, feel free to contact us for content. You know, we have published a couple of papers. The most recent one in the Sound and Vibration magazine last November. We got the, you know, PowerPoint product PowerPoints. We have a lot of videos. We now have a dedicated channel on YouTube. And if you don't have access to YouTube in your country, you also have the video vault in our website. So those are the same videos, and those are the things, you know, that will get us the exposure and allow us the growth we want to grow the next few years. So I'd like to thank you for your attention tonight,